Bradley Van Herps here with Brides, Bumps, and Babies Photography. Another episode in the video blog series. Today I'm here with Lindsay Cardella of Rocky Mountain Birth.
Hello, thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is great. Lindsay is a great birth community professional. And today we'll be talking about her 3 pillars of her main offering within Rocky Mountain Birth. And those 3 pillars top line are?
So I offer birth boot camp classes and curriculum to educate families prior to giving birth and or bringing babies home, talking to them about what that looks like. And then I also provide doula services, labor and postpartum. And then I also provide, we also do meal nourishing. So we will do, we have the Postpartum Kitchen is what we call it. And so we'll prepare meals for families and then deliver them.
Cool. So let's just start with number 1 and dive in a little deeper on each subject.
So the classes that I offer through Birth Boot Camp, I focus on workshops. So I have a comfort measures workshop. So let's say it's parents that it's their second baby and maybe partner wants to be a little bit more active and involved in the birth. I'm going to teach him how to comfort mom while she's laboring. So I'm going to show him hip squeezes, and I'm going to show him how to use a birth scarf and a rebozo. And I'm going to tell him the things that he should say to mom and the best ways to support her.
Let's go back a little bit. Hip squeezes. For him.
To do to mom. While she's laboring.
Do we need no.
I can totally do it. You want me to show you?
I don't know if we can stand up with the camera.
So hip squeeze is actually one of the ones that there was someone at my birth who showed my husband how to do the hip squeeze, and it was the moneymaker.
And what does it do? Let's forget about the technique of it right now. But when he's doing it for her, is it, hey, they're bonding and he's helping, number 1. So there's a bonding, I think. But he's literally, is it really helping?
So what it does, when women are laboring, their hips are going to expand. And so when the husband applies that counter pressure, then it's going to help relieve some of that intensity whenever she's having her contraction.
Does it give her something that kind of, some leverage of sorts? Or
no, it's really just more of a comfort. It's like a relief. Is more of how it feels. You can do it with 2 hands. You can do it with mom laying on the bed in 1 hand. You can do it in a variety of ways. But most partners that are supporting the birthing mother, they love the hip squeeze.
Cool. And then, so that was the hip, what do you call it again?
Hip squeeze.
Hip squeeze. And then you reeled off a couple others in a row. Let's maybe just go for a split second on each one.
So I'll teach him hip squeezes, and then there's a rebozo, which is a birth scarf. Its tradition comes from Mexico.
I've seen that. Yes. I've taken photos of somebody that did that when I was back in Los Angeles.
So I took a course with Gina Kirby, who's kind of the guru of birth scarves and rebozos. And so after taking that course, then I start to incorporate that into my work as well. But anyway, so the rebozo, you can use it in many different ways.
And it supports, right?
You can do, you can have mom on all 4s, and you can wrap it around her belly, and then partner can pull up, and it can.
And again, this is as I'm
laboring. As mom would be laboring.
Is this like how far away time-wise from actually crowning and birth? Is this something that's like hours ahead, or like when does that usually?
So throughout labor, I mean, and you know, traditionally labor can go from 4 hours to 36, 48. You know, I've seen them happen for 3 or 4 days. And so, you know, when a mom is laboring for that long, all of those different types of comfort measures are helpful. So, you're not doing it when she's crowning. You're probably not doing it while she's pushing, but you're doing it as she is dilating.
And again, so you're supporting with the cloth.
There's all different kinds of ways you can support with that rebozo.
And is it just kind of like taking the pressure off different parts of her body?
Another thing, you can also wrap it around the partner's shoulders, and then mom can squat and hold on to it, and then look in their eyes while she's laboring. That can be a very connecting experience as well. You can use it on door jambs if needed, all different kinds of things for the rebozo.
So comfort, this is all falling underneath the partner comfort measure class.
And then I have quite a few others, you know, that I teach them in the class. I don't want to give it all away.
Cool.
And then I also do a homecoming life with a new recruit class. And that's focused on after baby's born. So we're going to discuss if it's a boy, circumcision, if it's you know, the different medicines that are offered for babies right after they're born. What does it look like as a family after you have a baby? You know, and I talk about those real things in class about like sleep deprivation and sleep banks and how does the dyad and the dynamic between mom and dad change or mom and partner.
Postpartum, yeah.
And so we have a lot of those conversations in that class too.
Got it.
One of my favorites, and we also talk about postpartum.
And are these one-on-one classes or group classes or over the phone or Skype? Or?
It's definitely in person.
Okay.
And it can either be them coming to me for a group workshop or I can do it in home.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah. And then the last workshop that I offer is a sibling class. So sometimes parents will want their older sibling there. And so I teach that class. It's really geared towards kids ages 4 and up.
I was going to ask, like, you get down too low, they're not going to care.
Well, and even being a lot younger, it's a lot more challenging for them to self-regulate if they're in a laboring room. Right? So a kid that's that much smaller might not be able to process all of those intense things that are going on. Not to say that it can't happen, but usually you're going to have a sibling that's, 3, 4 and older. So in that class, I teach the sibling, what does it look like? What's mom going to look like? What can you do to help with mom if the parents want that sibling to be involved? Get her a cool rag, give her a sip of water. And then we watch some videos as well, and that way that they can see it and they're aware of what it looks like. I
never would have thought. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool. So, so that's...
Those are my classes. That's all under Birth Boot Camp.
Okay.
It's an evidence-based curriculum. And so, and the curriculum itself has been around since 2011, and I think there's about over 300 instructors of us out there.
And that section of Birth Boot Camp on your website is, one of the tabs. They can find all the information.
Under classes.
Yeah, okay, great.
And then you want to go into that, should we go to the second one?
So number 2.
Okay, so the second one, I offer my doula services.
Okay.
So I'm a labor doula. Labor doula, or doulas in general, is they're gonna provide emotional, physical, and educational support.
And I know there's different certifications, DONA, this, that.
DONA,
Like,
so I've actually taken, I think I'm at 4 different trainings, and I did that on purpose. I'm a person that is likes education, likes to be informed, as well as was very strategic in my networking component. So I have been trained by Kappa, DONA, and Birth Boot Camp.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
So as a doula, labor doula, you would support mom, but you also support the partner. A lot of people forget about that. Those partners, they're exhausted and tired too, because if they're involved in supporting that mom and it's going on a 36-hour birth, they need food and they need sleep. So a doula can do that, can come in and provide that. And
there's things that you can give them little jobs to make them feel as a part of it as well. Or if you find that they kind of don't, or they're nervous, it's okay. They can just probably hang out over here. And they can rest.
Exactly.
Hey, dude, take a nap, or whatever, right? I mean, it's kind of whatever dynamic is working, you sense that and roll with that.
Yes,
right?
exactly. And, all those, even if they take a comfort measure class, when it comes go time, it's not like dad's going to remember, oh yeah, she really liked this or this. And so it's kind of nice to have another person that's been to birth, that's done those things, that knows how to support that mom, and they can help him along. Hey, and that's what I always tell my clients. I'm like, I want your partner to be the rock star, not me. I'm going to help them be that knight in shining armor. So
you're just like ruddering down the rapids. You're just lightly steering.
Exactly.
But they're in the...
like here, maybe I'll do the hip squeeze and then I pull him over and say, okay, here, you do this here.
Yeah, remember when we did this? He's like, oh yeah, then it kicks in. He might remember. Yeah. That's cool. And so doulas, it's kind of an overarching term for coaching and bringing people and comforting them all the way from a little bit before labor to labor through birth. And what about like when the baby is born, it's out, joys, high fives, crying, happy. How long do you hang out, or is it part of the contract? Like, what would they expect? Or
that's a great question. So I usually stay 2 to 4 hours after baby's born. It kind of depends. The key thing that I like to try and make sure happens is that mom is latched, that the baby is latched to mom, and that breastfeeding is going well.
Latched meaning?
Nursing.
Okay.
Well.
Okay.
Yeah. So breastfeeding.
I didn't know if it was just a bonding, like, in case there was postpartum, like, or something. I didn't know if it was just
more just
literally...
like a breastfeeding.
Okay.
Yeah. Because they say within that, they call it the golden hour, those golden hours after baby's born, and if baby is able to latch during that time period, then usually leans towards a much more successful breastfeeding relationship.
So if it's been like 4 hours and you're kind of like, I haven't slept, and you were like, baby, boob. You know?
Come on, let's get this going.
Yeah, nice.
And then I always do a postpartum follow-up.
Yeah.
So, and we can do that in their home, do a check-in, we can do it out for coffee, just probably depending on what I'm thinking mom needs.
And then depending, hey, here's our follow-up, and they purchase there's some classes that could now come into play.
Or there's my postpartum doula services. So let's say a family gets home, beautiful birth, beautiful baby, but parenthood's tough.
Yep.
You're waking up every 2 to 3 hours to feed baby, and it can get exhausting. And so sometimes, again, having someone that knows that, knows what that looks like, and to be able to help and give them comfort measures of how to support baby now, and or also how the partner can support mom.
Yep.
Because that's a key thing. It's not just during labor, but also, while mom's breastfeeding, the partner can bring mom water and snacks.
Yep.
The mom can do input and dad can do output.
Yep. Yeah.
So we just talking a lot about that. As a postpartum doula, of course, I'm always trying to involve the partner as much as they want to be.
Yeah.
But if a family is just like, I just need sleep, I take care of the baby for him.
Got it.
And then I give them the rundown. If mom wants to breastfeed during the night, I can bring baby.
So it's night nanny type stuff?
It's a little bit different. So it is like night nanny, but I feel as a doula, I'm really focused on mom.
Okay.
So I'm focused on how is her well-being.
Okay.
If I'm doing a day shift, has she eaten? If not, I'll prepare her.
Okay.
I'm checking in to make sure, if she needs resources, acupuncturists, CSTs, craniosacral therapists, all of those community resources, providing those for her, cool. IBCLCs, yeah.
And then, so you mentioned the nutrition and food.
Yes, and then we also do...
Is that a natural...
It is. Yeah, and it's kind of
bridge into the third.
It is, and it evolved from my postpartum work.
Okay,
all of my work is
so number 3 in her services
is the Postpartum Kitchen.
There we go.
And that is focused on nourishing new moms in the 4th trimester. So after moms birth a baby, their bodies are very different, right? When you're growing a baby, things are added to your body, and your body is very different. Yeah. And so postpartum, I read the book, The First 40 Days, by Hing Ao, and I was very inspired. It talks about the Chinese tradition of where a mom for the first 40 days is taken care of. And it is called interdependent care. And she takes care of baby and stays in bed for 40 days. And it blew my mind. It's that concept here in America just doesn't really exist, right? And some moms might go stir crazy. Yeah. I train him for a week. Yeah. That's what I try and encourage them to do. So anyways, in this book, she talks a lot about the foods that were prepared for her. And so it really inspired me. And then I also saw the shift in my clients as I would prepare them foods, how it would affect them. For example, I had a mom that I started supporting and she wasn't eating. She just had no appetite. So we started with the basics. We started with the bone broth. And little by little, she started to get that appetite back. And then another mom had a huge postpartum hemorrhage. She had to have 2 units of blood. So with her, I focused on iron. I mean, these little iron bites and steak and those kinds of things. So with our meals, we're focusing on what that specific mom needs, and then we're preparing foods for her. We focus on soups that are nourishing, sitz baths, teas, and snacks.
So a minute ago when you mentioned to get her appetite back, is there common that after birth they're just magically not hungry?
Funny enough, I also work at a birth center. And interesting enough, there are moms that are like, they don't want to eat.
Is it because they're nauseous? Or
no, I think it's just a lot of work and they're exhausted. And remember, they've had a baby in there for 9 months.
I would think, though, they'd be really the other way and be starving.
Sometimes they are.
Everyone's different.
Yeah, it just kind of depends, and it depends on how long
But they still need nutrition, so
they
got to get something, and that's, like you said, maybe a broth or something. Just like, trust me, please, you need to drink this or some coconut milk.
And we're focusing on like those things. We're focusing on good fats. We're focusing on fish, oily fishes, coconut, avocados. So we're using those things as we're preparing our foods.
So again, the kitchen, full name again?
The Postpartum Kitchen.
And so literally it's you preparing meals and bringing them?
Yes, we deliver to families.
Meals on Wheels.
It is, and we also have, we're no waste. So in that sense, as far as packaging and those kinds of things, we're using things like, Pyrex and mason jars and those kinds of things that can be reused. And then we also focus on really trying to buy locally.
Yeah.
And organic, of course, non-GMO, especially if we're doing meats and those kinds of things.
And is this just you in the Postpartum Kitchen?
No, actually, my husband has joined me.
That's where I was going with that. I know that you mentioned that. So
yes.
What's his name?
His name is Nick Cardella. And he is amazing in the kitchen.
Really?
Yeah, we're real fortunate. But his passion, my husband actually had cancer at the age of 16 and then again at the age of 20. And so he right now has stage 3 elephantitis, lymphedema. And so throughout his entire life, he has had to be very mindful of what he eats and how he eats and pay attention to how it affects his body. And so he's kind of got a natural gift for that. I grew up latchkey kid in the kitchen making my own concoctions from when I was like 5.
Wow, right on.
Yeah.
Is there any other little legs to discuss within the Postpartum Kitchen? I mean, you come to them. Is there different levels of the program, like once a week, twice a week, pre-made, and they put it in the freezer, or is it always per? How long do you deliver? Here's breakfast, lunch, and dinner for 2 days, or just for today, or
it depends.
Do you know what I mean? Is there different offerings? Or?
So right now we're really staying focused on the soups and things like that. And so usually we'll deliver once a week at the beginning of the week, and then they can put it in the fridge.
Okay.
And obviously they will eat that within the 7 days, or if they need to freeze it, they can. And what was the other question you were asking?
I think that was just seeing if there's other
components
of that third Postpartum Kitchen.
So it's packages. It's not single meals. That is important to know. It wouldn't make sense for us to, go be a driver and drive out. But so we focus on packages. So it would be one time a week.
Got it.
Yeah.
So that's the 3.
Yeah, those are our 3.
Recapping.
We've got classes. With
which,
birth boot camp.
Number 2, doula.
Doula services, labor and postpartum.
Postpartum Kitchen.
And then the Postpartum Kitchen for meals.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, cool, guys. That'll wrap up this episode with Lindsay Cardella of Rocky Mountain Birth. And how they can contact you, I will put right here on the lower third.
Awesome.
The URL is
www.rockymountainbirth.com.
There it is. Cool.
Yeah.
So thanks all. We're going to come back with a couple other little episodes here in a minute. But for now, bye-bye.
Thank you.